ended up not watching anything from hotel TVs. I think it's interesting, not interesting, but rather just a random story that I wanted to share with you guys. So, it all started with the very first time I ever slept in a hotel. So, I was in varsity, right? And I was studying so hard, so hard, so I could make sure that I pass and I don't repeat any grade. Is it appropriate to say grade in varsity? So I don't repeat any of the modules I was taking because I couldn't afford to repeat anything. And I, by the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, was awarded a bursary. I got a bursary, and this bursary that I got could pay for your tuition, accommodation, food, all those things, and I was so grateful for that, which was, a great motivation for me to keep even going further. And we got motivated to such an extent that we I should have put my other phone on silent. I should have been motivated to such an extent. We got motivated to such an extent that we even received awards. There were award ceremonies for the top achieving student from each and every single institution in South Africa. So from my institution, I would win the award, and which meant that they are going to fly us to a place where we're going to be having this award ceremony, and they would sleep us in hotels, etc. So the very first time I got invited to these awards, it was my very first time to ever fly on an aeroplane, which was exciting. Not an aeroplane, is it an aeroplane? To get on a flight. Anyway, I was so excited about it. Like, yes, my very first flight. This is exciting. I was ecstatic, over the moon. And we got to fly. And then they slept us in this nice, fancy hotel. And there were plenty of movies being shown on the screen in the hotel, and there are people who go to hotels and always order room service without knowing that at the end they will be given a bill that says you have to pay for this. But thankfully I did watch a movie called, I think it's like Mike or something like that. It stars Little Bow Wow, and he had this magic sneakers that would help him play sports. And then in that movie they did explain that if you order room service, it will be charged to you and you actually have to pay for that. So I learned from that movie that you never order room service unless it's catered for, and or at least you can pay for what you order, in terms of room service. So that was no problem. But I never heard anything about watching movies. So I switched on the television inside my room, and then I would flip through like movies that are most recent, and I would watch this movie, spend like 2 minutes, and like, oh, it's boring, and I move on to the next movie, like, oh, it's boring, and I move on to the next movie, oh, it's boring, up until I could find a movie that I really enjoyed. And I did find one movie, I ended up watching it. After I was done, I went to sleep, and then I woke up. It was time to check out and fly back. So as we are checking out, the receptionist, as we're checking out, says, "Excuse me, so you have to pay this amount of money." And I'm like, "Wait, say what now?" They're like, "Yeah, you watched this movie and this movie and this movie and this movie is only just playing at cinema, blah blah blah." I don't know what the explanation was. as we were flying or going to the airport, the person that was supposed to be picking us up picked us up late. And then by the time we get to the airport, our flight gone. But thankfully the person we were with was like very like talkative and upfront and whatnot. And they got us into another flight. As we're sitting there, I'm like, oh my god, there's no freaking way I lost all my 250. And now I'm sitting in this airport. I can't go back home. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna ask people on the side of the road for money so I can get back home? What's going to happen? This is frustrating. And then thankfully that person that we were with came back to us. They're like, oh, okay, cool. We've been put on another flight, which is in 2 hours time, but we can go check in and sit on the other side. And then we went to go check in. We got our tickets and we got on that flight. And that to me was beyond traumatizing. Now I'm back at home. I'm telling this entire story of what happened with watching the movies and stuff like that. And then my family was like, wait, what? We think you were robbed because you don't pay to watch movies. We never paid to watch any movies when we were in hotels. What kind of a hotel pays you to watch the movies? And it's like, that's what they said. And they even showed me the fine print at the bottom that you have to pay, which I didn't see at the time because, it's in the corner somewhere. They were like, oh, we never heard of that. And prior to that and after that, I've never heard of it. But because I was so traumatized and I don't want to be super tired and jet-lagged and look on screens in the TV that I'm watching to see if I have to pay for the movies, I just tell myself I'm just gonna get in there, sit on my laptop, watch something on my own laptop. I'm not gonna watch the TV from the hotels just because of that. But I mean, I also do have another option of not even of asking in the reception, do you charge extra for watching movies, which is something I did before, and they would always say like, what are you talking about? No, we don't do that. Everything is for free. But still, I don't want to press the wrong button, which would say, girl, you pressed the button and now you have to pay. Another message, now you have to pay for that. So that is insane. That is seriously insane. So you guys tell me, have you ever been to a hotel where you had to pay for watching something? I only know about room service. Room service is the only thing that I know. And thankfully, there are hotels that include breakfast and dinner. And then there are hotels that say that if you take your dinner inside your room, you have to pay. But if you go there to take the dinner, then if it's inclusive, you don't have to pay, which is something strange as well. But the big question I want to ask you guys, have you been to a hotel where you had to pay for watching a movie, or was that just a me thing? And if I did remember the name of that hotel, I would have told you guys. I never bothered to remember the name of that hotel. I was just excited about the fact that I'm sleeping in a hotel and excited about the fact that I'm flying. And I would keep count of, I've flown twice, I've flown like 4 times now, I've flown like 8 times now. I would keep count of such things as well, because it was like such an exciting thing to happen. And one of like my biggest wish list was to take my family on vacation. We would all fly together on a vacation because my father had never flown before and he passed away without ever having been flown anywhere. And he loved cars a lot, and my father changed cars like he was changing socks. But it's strange that he never flew. So I was like, I'm gonna fly you guys. was just a me thing. So yeah, that is the story of how and why I do not watch TV ever in hotels. Now, with that being said, I'm not gonna watch this. I'm not watching it. I don't wanna be traumatized. That's the story. Funny thing is, when I was filming this video, I wanted to film it before I go get dinner, and I wanted to have the window entirely open, the curtains entirely open, so that you can see the street lights out there as I'm filming with the black background. But the window, it's not a sliding door, it's like an intact window, and when I opened the curtains, I was just seeing the reflection of the inside of the room. I was like, no, that's not what my intention was. And I know the lighting sucks, but I had this plan on my mind, but the execution didn't live up to my expectations. It's kind of one of those when you have like something on your mind, this is how it's going to be, or maybe like an outfit. Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna wear this and this and that, and then you put it all together like, oh, maybe not. It's one of those, but video wise. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. Do tell me, was I scammed for paying to watch those movies? And the funny part, or not funny, the most devastating part was that I didn't even finish watching those movies. But since I clicked play, now it read as a cost. But the receptionist was not nice enough to clear the bill after I paid that 250. But it was a lot to like pay this. I'm like, what? I've never had that amount of money ever in my life. They're like, yeah, you have to pay. And I don't think it was a scam, because they knew each and every single movie that I watched. Unless they always know what you're watching. Are there cameras? Somewhere here?